all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning to everyone tuning in. This is midweek and I am Hormus Fatakia here to tell you all that you need to know on the 3rd of March. First up, Reliance Jio emerged as the top bidder in the recently concluded spectrum auctions, bidding for airwaves worth over 57,000 crore rupees. Telecom Secretary Anshu Prakash said that close to 60% of the spectrum on offer was sold. Jio said that it has acquired airwaves that are suitable for use with the 5G technology. It has also added spectrum in all 22 zones of the country. India's trade deficit widened to $12.9 billion in February as compared to just over $10 billion in the year-ago period. The deficit figure, however, was less than the $14.5 billion number in January this year. While imports during the April to February period are down 23%, exports are down 12.3% on a year-to-date basis. Exports of oil meals, iron ore, rice, meat and dairy recorded positive growth during the quarter. Over 50 lakh people have registered themselves on the CoWIN app until Tuesday evening for the second phase of vaccinations against COVID-19, according to government data. The centre also said that nearly 5 lakh beneficiaries aged 60 or above, or those above 45 years of age with comorbidities, have received their first COVID-19 vaccine. As of 7 p.m. on Tuesday, over 1.5 crore vaccine doses have been administered. The BMC has also said that in addition to its own centres, 29 private hospitals have been given permission to carry out the vaccine drive. India expects its fuel consumption to bounce back during the upcoming year, overcoming the losses caused due to COVID-19 and subsequent lockdowns. Demand for gasoline, diesel and other fuels will reach a record 215 million tonnes by the end of FY22, according to the Petroleum Planning and Analysis Cell of the country's oil ministry. Consumption for diesel and gasoline is likely to rise 13%, while the demand for aviation turbine fuel, which was the most impacted, is likely to grow 74% in the upcoming financial year. The time is apposite for private investment to come alive, according to an article by RBI Deputy Governor Michael Patra. The article said that only private investment is missing in action at a time when all the engines of aggregate demand are starting to fire in order to support economic growth. The government has proposed to sell 4.7 crore shares or 10% of the total equity of Ircon International through an offer for sale. The government will also have a green shoe option to sell an additional 2.82 crore shares or 6% of the company's total equity. The floor price of 88 rupees per share is a 10.2% discount to Tuesday's closing price. The OFS for non-retail investors opens today, while that for retail investors will open tomorrow. As of the December quarter shareholding pattern, the government held 89.18% stake in Ircon International. Engineers India has received an order worth 600 crore rupees from Indian Oil Corporation. The project involves execution of consultancy for overall project management and EPCM services. The project is at Indian Oil's Panipat refinery, for which it approved a capex plan of over 33,000 crore rupees last week in order to expand its capacity. The total project schedule will be of 40 months or just over 3 years. The IPO of Mtar Technologies will be opening for subscription today. The company has raised 179 crore rupees from 15 anchor investors ahead of the IPO. Anchor investors include Sundaram Mutual Fund, Goldman Sachs, Nippon India Life, Invesco, among others. Watch out for stocks like Bharat Forge and RK Forgings, as Class 8 truck orders in the US nearly tripled to 44,000 units in February as compared to just over 14,000 units during the same period last year. On a month-on-month basis, the orders were up 2.8%. February is the fifth straight month during which orders were higher than 40,000 units. Oil prices are down for the fourth straight day this morning as OPEC is set to increase its production during its meeting tomorrow, along with a rise in US stockpiles. Data from the American Petroleum Institute indicated that US domestic crude inventories rose by over 7 million barrels last week, according to those familiar with the matter. Bloomberg reports that Microsoft is urging customers to download software patches after state-sponsored hackers based in China broke into some customers' copies of its software for email, contacts, and calendar using previously undiscovered flaws. Microsoft said that while on-premises systems have been affected, the online version of its Exchange server was not impacted. With that, I head over to Neeraj Shah for the trade setup of the day. Morning, Neeraj. We have had 2 straight days of gains now. Is the momentum likely to continue?
Well, thanks for that, Hormuz. Global yields continue to retreat, and that alone may be a key factor for equities the world over. And even if the opportunity does not look tantalizingly good to create trading long, as say Friday, one has to admit that with the key markets in US and EU regions stable to positive or maybe marginally negative, FI is returning with over 2,200 crores worth of buying versus about 850 crores of DI selling. The scare turned out to be temporary this time. But can this whole thing reverse? It sure can, but can it be predicted? I'm not sure. Asia is looking like starting off modest, maybe marginally higher or lower, and thus trading activity may be more stock-specific as opposed to being index-based. Keep in mind that the larger market breadth was positive yesterday as well, and it was much better than the large caps, even on the manic Friday. Mid-cap index was showing outperformance to the Nifty yesterday as well. And do note that the US futures are trading marginally higher. So create your trading positions accordingly. I'll watch out for autos and technology. For those two did really well on Tuesday. Tech look ripe for a bounce any which is, as I've been talking in the trade setup of how flows had looked like flowing into the tech space, fishing for value opportunities because of the correction. So it'd be interesting to see what they do today. The other pack is PSUs, which I think continues to dominate trade every single day now. Heavy buying of realty stocks was seen at dealer desks, and those may see activity today, tomorrow, or sometime this week, but do watch out for the real estate pack. Hormuz, of course, spoke of the Class 8 truck sales, but viewers should also, or listeners should also note some pockets that may hurt too. Increasing polymer prices in India may hurt volumes for some agri-pipe companies, such as Apollo Pipes, Supreme Industries, Phenolix, as farmers apparently seem to be postponing the laying of pipes, hoping for slightly better prices ahead. This is as per a conference from brokerage house Systematics. And some trading activity could be seen in telcos. We all know that Vodafone Idea bought about Spectrum about 1993 crores and Jio bought Spectrum about 57,000 crores. This happened yesterday. This is in addition to Airtel buying about 355 megahertz of spectrum for about 18,699 crores. So depending on the positioning and the view about how positive, negative this is, we might see some activity in the telcos in the session today. But watch out for PSUs, watch out for real estate in particular, from what I hear from dealer desks. And there'll be some, of course, news flow around Class 8 truck sales, etc., and some companies like Ircon, in which the government is going to sell via an OFS. So those would definitely be in focus. But happy trading, stay bottoms up, and most importantly, wear your masks. Thanks so much for tuning into the podcast today.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.